All right. We are here. It is live. Okay. I'm doing a lot of things. It is the Video Vixen after party rock and roll set. Amazing. So we're going to have people joining. Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm doing something that feels extraordinary, which is sharing the screen as I'm doing it in several places. So who cares about that? Welcome. Okay, so as you're driving, as you're writing, whatever you're doing, I want my intention here is to celebrate all of you that not only did Video Vixen, but also those of you who are cheering us on. Those of you who have a secret desire to be doing this and it always goes by and you're like, fuck, I didn't do it again. And to make that okay. So let these questions, let this celebration into your field. Let it be here. Be yourself. Let's give a little. So we have to do a little bit of dance. So let's use a song that won't mute me. Okay. So if you don't celebrate your accomplishments, they literally turn to shit. And that sounds cool. But actually, what happens is you just move on with your day. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I did a cool thing. So if you're driving, keep your hands on the wheel. But maybe you could do a little finger dance, or maybe you could feel it in your body. But this is an actual embodiment practice that when you celebrate something, if you're like, yay, then who gives a shit? But if you can drum up energy in the moment, you can use that energy for other things. So let's go. Ready? What the timing is like when you hear this? Really take yourself to another level of joy. To me, your shoulders, wiggle your fingers, throw your arms up. Yeah, I did a thing. Maybe make your toes dance in your shoes. All right. Excellent. There's something really cool, and I want to be really proud of myself for producing these online events and letting myself be goofy and silly and fun and playful. And I love that is the message that I send to everybody, because we all not just want that, but need that in our lives. Okay, so this is really, Video Vixen is about leadership. And what emerged from one of the prompts was, it's not about leadership from standing in front of the room. It's the leadership that you live in your life when you're sitting in traffic, when you're in a Zumba class, when you've hired workers to do your back deck and they sort of leave a mess afterwards. How do you lead yourself in moments that are like, ugh, I just wish the rest of the world would do the right thing, but they didn't, and they're not going to. So, ladies and gentlemen, and all of you fellow leaders, sensitive leaders, we're going to talk about leadership in terms of Video Vixen. Now, Video Vixen is something that I love because growing up, I watched a lot of MTV videos, and it was all about the vixen in the video. And to me, she was the leader. She was the leader that took control of the scene. And no matter how powerful the rock star was in the video, she was the one. And so this title emerged, in one of my rants, in one of my rambles. But I want to address the incredible power of leadership for the sensitive souls, which are all of you. Hopefully you resonate with that word, that do Video Vixen and that dance on your main page and then dance on your regular page and then dance in between so that all the people in your world, welcome to those of you jumping in, that all the people in your world who are not into self-development, who are not into your magical ways, that you show up and let yourself be seen. Because as we all know, like those friends from high school, I'm just going to generalize that group, whoever they are. Maybe you worked with them when you were 17. Those judgmental people who haven't changed in 30, 20 years, they have this belief that nobody's changed. They still have that small world mentality that's like, this is the way things should be. And you have broken away from that mold. And you have broken away from that mold, being sensitive to the people that are judging. Really celebrate and commend yourself, because when we talk about leadership, that we're not talking about any kind of leadership, right? The incredible power of leadership that comes from vulnerability makes this important. So the world is filled with leaders who are often perceived as strong, tough, unwavering. They command attention, they make tough decisions, and they stand up against adversity. And while those are leaders that we're used to, there's a real limitation and a real lack of invitation that other people are invited into when those people are doing their thing. It's kind of scary. It's kind of like, this is the way to do it. And, forget government and people like that. But even in the self-development world, ooh, this feels good to talk about. There are leaders that lead from pain. There are leaders that lead from like, this is the way to do it. Here's my formula. Let's do it that way. And that doesn't work for me. And I've paid a lot of money in situations where I thought, oh, I have to do it that way. And sensitive leaders like us can then go down the rabbit hole of, if I don't do it this way, I'm not doing it right. And that motor is a really sucky one that says you have to do it a certain way. Now, I suggest and offer prompts. And as you all know, you could do whatever you want. And I make that a big deal. Even if you never do anything else except the prompts, just having that invitation to do whatever you want is very different than a lot of leaders and a lot of, let's just say, self-development, whatever, if it's relationship, business, money, whatever, there's a certain hierarchy. And I love sensitive leaders who give everybody permission to be their own leader. And that's what Video Vixen is about. I, in fact, told several of you, do it. Do Video Vixen with your own community. Beautiful. I love it. I want to share this. I do celebrate that I'm a sensitive soul, but embodying the learnt gangsta personas. Yes. And thank you, Hazel, for dancing. Oh, I love that you're all here. I want to celebrate this motherfucker. I don't know who it is. And I found, of course, a little too late, or I forgot to share the link of how to get your name shown. But anyway, we'll just celebrate you. Somebody getting ready for work. I wonder if yes, you have definitely earned the right to be in this exclusive party. You only did one video, but you know what? You stepped into the door. You opened the curtain and you stepped in. And that so deserves to be celebrated, because it is so easy as a sensitive soul to be like, it's okay. That's not for me anyway. I don't have a business. I don't have a creative project. I don't need to step to the front of the room. And I don't know if that's you or not, but the truth is we all have something to say. We all want to strive and grow in the world, because if you don't have that aliveness in you as a sensitive soul, it will tap, poke, give you all kinds of things of like, What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, if you're the kind of person that just wants to go out drinking and make fun of people and look at other people and judge them, you're not going to be here. That's not the group you're in. You know that. So if you're here, you've got something to share in this world. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't have to be for a money exchange. It could be because you want your opinion in the world. It could be because you've been through something really hard that people can learn from because you've done it and you've solved some problem in your life. So if you consider yourself a sensitive leader, put up the letters if you're not driving and you feel safe, SL. Or if you feel like writing it out, I am a sensitive leader. And of course, because I love my enchanted shit, everything, it's like being this enchanting leader means you have emotions as you're leading. You might get your breath taken away and you might start to cry as a leader. You might be a silent leader. You might be in the back of the room leading somebody who needs your kind of leadership. This is not the kind of leadership that you lead as an asshole. Basically, I don't know how else to say it. So I invite everyone to take a breath into it and let your sensitive leadership self feel in your spine that no matter how old, how much you weigh, what you look like, how you dress, how you feel about yourself when you wake up in the middle of the fucking night, that you too can be this kind of leader. And all of those other qualities, like the tough decision making, the commanding attention, like those kind of leaders, they can lead their people. But your kind of leadership is needed amongst us. And here's some of the reasons why. So you possess a remarkable depth of empathy, right? So if you agree with that, type in the word empathy. If you are the kind of leader that has compassion, you're not barking at people. You're like, oh shit, I totally get it. If you didn't show up, please try to do it better next time. So empathy, compassion, and intuition, those three pieces are not, it's not rampant with everybody. We have it. Empathy, compassion, and intuition means if you have empathy, you're not going to yell at people. You're going to have some understanding, even if they fucked up all the way, whatever that means. You're going to have compassion. You're going to listen. You're going to have active listening skills. You're going to understand that people are people and life happens. And if you expect them to be perfect, you're going to have a failing situation most times. And the intuition piece means you could have a degree, you could learn, you could do all the best schools in the world, and you get an intuitive hit and you follow it. And maybe it looks messy, but you have the communication to clean it up. So type if you feel empathetic towards people. Type compassion if you know you're a compassionate person. And type intuition if you have that sense in you where sometimes you veer off topic. Sometimes you veer off the road onto a small town. Or you have the inclination to want to speak up at a meeting and say something very different than the person leading the meeting. So those three things, major. And then we have attuned our emotions with our mouths. We know how to speak to our emotions. We use right now, I feel, some of you used it during this video Vixen challenge, and offering it to other people, holding space for other people for them to have their process. So you have the ability to see beyond the surface, to understand the subtleties of human interaction. This is what being an enchanted leader means to me. And in Video Vixen, everybody gets an opportunity to do that. So what happens is sensitive people get often they get like mixed up. I say they, but we get mixed up with like, oh, she's too mushy. She's too sappy. I'm realizing I'm missing. Oh, no, I'm not. Or people forget other people. We start to say about ourselves, like, I'm too emotional. I have led things where there's somebody in the room and they're having an experience that makes their face look like this. And then I think it's about me. And now I have to do my leadership thing while someone is melting in a little bit of a way, and I have to integrate them. So we get caught, and then it's very possible for me to think like I'm not doing a good job, or this person isn't happy because of something I'm saying. So being empathetic and leading is like being a fucking ninja, because you're like, hey, my day is going great. I'm so happy to be leading. And then somebody starts crying, or someone's in the back of the room, on their phone, and you're leading and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? And so that is so much more work than just going up there and spewing your leadership at people. So being a sensitive leader is more work, but we reap more benefits. Oh, that's so cool. Interesting. I love this. Compassionate and intuitive. I lead people to do cool things when hiking. Right. So being a leader does not mean you're on a stage with a mic and a podium. It literally means, how do you be in your life and lead yourself so that others are inspired without you saying, I'm the leader. Now, I shared an example of this in my Zumba class with a teacher that I don't accredit as the best Zumba teacher in the world. But fucking what? I'm not leaving the class. It's my workout. So instead of following her kooky looky combinations that, to me, blah, 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 I don't want to talk bad about her, I stay and do whatever I want. And in my mind's eye, I'm like, okay, I'm helping this woman. Because some people stop working out because they want to get the combination right. And I'm like, lady, we're not in Broadway steps here. We're just doing Zumba to move our bodies and stay healthy. So I'm leading from a place of meeting people where they're at. And that to me is extremely important, but not everybody leads that way. So if we're in a Zumba class and I see somebody being hard on themselves, I don't like get obnoxious and be like, it's okay. But energetically, I'm consciously giving energy to them that, like, it's okay. Whatever you're doing is okay. Just stay here and work out. It's really good. Okay, so as a sensitive leader, you have all chosen to be visible, which is a powerful fucking message alone. What you share, we're so spoiled with each other. We don't even realize, like, wow, what I'm doing is so scary. And you do it so easily. You make it look so easy. So when you demonstrate, it's okay to be human. It's okay to have doubts. It's okay to have fears. It's okay to have vulnerabilities. You create an environment of trust and authenticity so that others can feel safe to express themselves, share their ideas, and collaborate. And their fears of judgment melt away just by you being you. So the old school methods of, like, who's in charge? Who's the leader? That doesn't have to happen that way. You can run your business that way, in a very lucid, I don't want to say lucid, but I want to say flow, right? So when something in real time happens, you don't stick to your shit. You integrate that thing. And when you navigate your own sensitivity with grace and resilience, and you integrate the shit that's happening in the room, you are a fucking ninja. And for those of you, I don't have it up in front of me, I don't know what number it is, but our 10 commandments of fucking your fears, ninja is on there. Ninja boundaries. So you're including the people, but you're not letting them run the show. And then all these things can coexist. And then you're an even more powerful leader when you integrate the shit that's going on in the room. When you're able to not only just show up, but you're showing up, and your energy that comes into the space is welcome, even if it's very emotional. So when you're very emotional, you know how to take care of yourself. That's what an enchanting leader is here. You let yourself be impacted. You let yourself integrate the person that's looking at you and talking to you, what they're saying. You don't just put on those talking heads. So yeah, I'm also managing Zoom, so I got a little distracted. So I really want to be clear. Being a visible leader means you might be the quietest guy in the room, but in your body, in your presence, in your essence, it's not mistaken at all that you are the one in charge. And that means you don't have anything to prove to anybody. You don't have to go around making points. And if somebody's acting up, you're centered enough to include them or ask them to leave, let's say, in a really crazy situation. I don't know why I always like to give some.
Shane, you're muted, hon.
I meant to mute you. Okay, good. All right, thank you. So, which is interesting because I just said something so funny. I thought it was funny, which is you have to ask somebody to leave the room. Like your leadership is about your sensitivities being included. So when you're doing Video Vixen or you're entertaining, let's say, even in your house, and somebody acts like whatever, their person, that you can let in the idea that you feel bad, you feel ashamed, you feel confused, you feel like, uh-oh, how do I deal with this? But and there's like some kind of trust little fairy that comes to you and says like, you got this, don't worry about it. Now, with that, I want to say there are moments where you get rocked. And I saw some of you, in the beginning of Video Vixen, most of you have done this. So 167 people have signed up over the last year. 40 people did videos, and about 32 of you did all of them. I didn't count exactly, but for the most part, 32 people. That's a lot of people. And a lot of the people who did it have done it for years already. So there were about 2 or 3 new people that did Video Vixen, and it was easy for them because of who they are, but also because all of you have already set the stage. That's amazing. So I want to celebrate all of you for doing that. And I want to celebrate those of you who did one video, or for those of you who are like, oh, you know what? I just want to watch because I want to do it another time. So when you're a visible leader and you show up, it doesn't mean you have to be a totally open book. And when I learned this theory in acting, it was basically like, if something is too close to the vest, you don't need to do it. You don't need to share all your warts. But basically, the rule of thumb is if it happened within the last 7 years and it was super traumatic, just to be gentle with yourself and not exactly expose it. And what I love that all of you really get a grip on is you could share the feeling and you don't have to share all the details. To me, that is so important when you're telling a story about yourself. People don't know how to process all of your details, and it often disconnects the connection you have. And people start to fade out and they don't know how to get out of that conversation. So when you're doing your videos, what everybody tends to do in the beginning is, oh my God, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm rambling. This feels stupid. But then there's this place that happens where you're like, you find a harmony. And a lot of your videos this time went long. They went like 10 minutes, but there was more engagement because it wasn't just a meandering story. And that is so skilled. I really want you to celebrate that about yourselves. It's so skilled to be able to tell a story, to share an experience, to be able to give your heart, share your art, share your emotional experience, and not take us down the detailed road where you lose people, but to share what's relevant to people that are watching and to care so much about what you're sharing about is a big fucking skill. So I love it. We have some people showing up on the road between Louisiana and Arkansas. Thank you for sharing. You have to go now. Like, we have such a beautiful community here of sensitive people. And it's really nice. It's beautiful that our group is growing, that we're including all the genders, that we have a couple of men that always show up and do this, this challenge and this mission, and that more are showing up. Like, here's the adult way, what I think, to make friends. Because the world as it is, and I'm being pretty general, is sort of like people have very strong beliefs about what a leader should look like. And so if that's not you, and it's energetic, it's not really words, but they sort of close you out. And so being able to show up in a place where you can make a live video at any moment, which gives you that, what I love, being witnessed in something very real, to me, that's healing. And I feel really strongly about the word healing because it's so overused. But the truth is, if we can start loving the unloved parts of ourselves and sharing all of these things, which I feel like I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, then we can have a more peaceful universe. And then when we go out into the world where people are not appreciative of sensitive people, we're not so sensitive that they can break us down. Okay, I want to honor the time. So I'm going to ask some questions. So if you have a journal, or if you feel you can type it in the comments, or you could just answer to yourself. But so if you didn't do the mission, that's kind of why I'm pausing. I want you to make this question appropriate for yourself, make it work. So what came out of doing this mission for yourself? And you could share something energetically, like, oh, I feel proud of myself, or I feel stupid for not doing it, or I'm watching you right now and I feel inspired to do it next time. But the question is, what came out of doing this Video Vixen Summer 2023 mission? And of course, this is, if you're watching on the replay, you can pause and answer that question. So for some of you, like for Julia, who, by the way, happy birthday, what came out of doing this mission, what I saw was doing the Z. Oh, I don't know why now I'm doubting myself, but it's called Z energy. And it was Qigong. And it was a practice that you did live. And it was an offering to people. And I did it a couple of times. And I was like, oh, I feel so good about doing this because I need to be led. So what came out of it? Like last time we did this, Hazel, you wrote a book. Or we did when we did the summit, you wrote a book. So what came out of you from doing this? And the second question is, what are some of your most proud moments? Which otherwise we call a snapshot. Like when you close your eyes and you think about this Video Vixen mission, even if you're just hearing about it now for the first time, what are you proud of about yourself? Like, what's a moment or two? Was it that you fell off from doing it and then you came back? Was it that you went into the woods with your family and you lost internet service and you didn't drive in every day? Yeah, I really promised myself not to mention, because I already mentioned people who did great things, but also I didn't mention people that I thought of after. And I want to celebrate everyone. So in that way, I will celebrate no one specifically, which is not easy for me. And the third question is, so it's been several weeks after we did Video Vixen. So what, and maybe it's like the person who came before you in your video that inspired you. Like, who inspired you? What of the other people's videos inspired you or had an impression or an impact on you? And this piece is important because it's really great to start to recognize other people as a friend, as a homie. It's like when I teach workshops and we're standing in a circle and someone says, well, what Frank did was so great. And I say, turn to that person and say, what you did was great. Like, start to become intimate with each other so that you get a compliment from each other and don't feel like you have to mention everybody's name. But in a snapshot, who had an impression on you? I know there's so many. Okay, got it. So I know this is Gregory. I want to sell. Okay, shit. I'm going to celebrate people. I can't help it. So Gregory said he chimed in from the hospital. Listen, there was a woman many years ago. She chimed in from the hospital and she really needed our love and support. Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm not going to mention everybody's greatness, but everyone who's showing up did things that were so freaking amazing. So, Gregory, I feel like you doing that. Did you make new friends? Did you always play your flute, but like, did you make new art? Here's the thing. Sometimes we have to dig a little bit to find the celebration, to find the thing that you did. So dig a little bit. What came out of doing it? Dig a little bit. What's up, everybody on Zoom? Now I'm looking at you. I'm also sweating because I'm using StreamYard and Zoom at the same time. And, I really like to pay attention to everybody. Okay. So if you didn't do Video Vixen, what I want you to answer in that question is like, when I see people who make live videos, what do I think of them? Do I think like what's your quick judgment, right? So is your quick judgment people who make videos are brave, people who make videos are crazy, people who make videos are conceited and self-centered and self-absorbed? I know. Just everyone was great. It's really hard to tell, but here's my challenge and my dare is, send a message to these people privately and tell them that they were great. It doesn't have to be in a comment because then that energy of like, oh, I should tell everybody, but write a message to the people that impressed you and give them a little bit of like love. What impressed me the most was I remember, oh man, I'm going to do it, but you're live here, Joanna. So when you combined like number 10 day and number 16 day, I was like, that's so cool because I don't see them that way. And you piece them together. Yeah, I'll mention everybody here. So I'll mention everybody who I know is here. So Russell, when you did yours, you always have done them in the car, but also you were so relaxed. And that's really nice to watch, watching people go from nervous and wanting to prove something. And not that you did that, but it was you were nervous. And now you're like, yeah, I'm tired. Like you were tired a lot. And now you're all vivacious. So you're letting people witness your behavior more than what you're saying. You are showing up and people are looking at you and they're making their judgments and they're listening. They're present, then they're not present. And they get to choose what their takeaways about you are. I don't say that to make you self-conscious. I say that to say like, cool. And you're showing up. And we couldn't do it if we weren't with friends, if we weren't in a community, because you would beat the shit out of yourselves. I would too. So Mindy, the fact that you had to skip a bunch of days and didn't force your way to make it happen was such a huge celebration. And then you came back and did them on your own time, outside, in nature. Like, we all get to see each other's stuff, right? It's like we know who goes every day. We know who shows up at the same times every day. And then to see you being flexible, so beautiful. And Christian, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome. And you didn't do Video Vixen, but you're an amazing world-renowned artist. And like for you to be here and give this to yourself, it's like such a good service to all of us to see you and to introduce yourself to this community in this way and not be able to speak like we're not talking here. You're just receiving love from me, whether you like it or not. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to check back. Oh, yeah. Russell dancing. That was amazing. And here's the cool thing, you guys. We could all go back and watch each other. And you can go back and watch yourselves. And that's really important because if you go back and watch your first video, then you can be like, oh my God, it's so crazy. And now you're relaxed, you're dancing, you're showing your art. Some of you are even selling your art. You're producing your books, you're making your shows, and you have an immediate audience. Immediate. That's amazing. This is the laboratory. This is the laboratory to do things that are uncomfortable, to talk about the things that are uncomfortable, to make videos from your bed, right? Those are really vulnerable moments. So I want to celebrate all of you for entering this space, no matter what you did, no matter what you didn't do. And basically, this was a transformation. And some of it is still unfolding, and some of it you have to dig deep for. But so what? That's something fun. Instead of looking at what problems you want to fix, you going into this dynamic deep dive of like, what did 18 days of video prompts is a lot. You know, you do one thing, it has an impact on your life, but 18 days of it. And some of you, I want to just shout out Rizzo, who said she was doing them in her journal. You don't have to come live. I want to pay attention to time, but you are the ones. Like, I'm happy to cheerlead everybody, but it's really important for you to dig deep and find the tiny nuanced celebrations that maybe only you know about, right? Like, you know, and life coming at you, right? So Gregory ending up in the hospital, like, wasn't part of your vent your bitch plan. If you've never seen any of Gregory's videos, he's a flutist and an artist, and he added his own hashtag, which is vent your bitch, which is so good. Or last time he had the coughing show, like, you know, it's in the business world, they would say your brand is emerging, but fuck that. I like your authenticity is emerging. We really get to know each other. We get to know our giggles, our laughs. Heather, who's in the Trust Club, she emerged with a Wednesday night Cosmic Playground, a show that's happening Wednesday nights online. And so just noting that things can develop, and sometimes the best way organically, so you can show up ready. And having this catapult, having this 18 days in a row, you're like on a trampoline. And then you're like, wee, I can't believe I'm jumping so high. And you feel like you're flying. And which can feel scary, right? It can feel scary, like you're in the unknown. What am I going to do? Someone's going to see this that I haven't seen in 20 years. Let them deal with it. So the piece that I want to close with is people adjust, right? You show up ready, you show up open, you show up willing, and you have those three pieces, which is empathy, compassion, and intuition. And people hear that and feel that in your conviction. They don't even know what you're talking about half the time, but if they feel your conviction, then they trust you. And then in the moments when you're like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. This is crazy. You're like, wait, but these people have feedback for me. So I guess I do know what I'm doing. So at the end of the day, remembering that I hate that sentence at the end of the day, but what I want you to really take away is your leadership matters most every moment, all the time. When you're sitting in traffic and you decide to go a different way than your GPS says, you're taking leadership of your life. And that's really what we're about here. If you're never a world-renowned artist, if you never have a business that makes $1 million, but you are leading your life like a leader and you feel proud of your decisions and you can make decisions in the moment, then this work is working for you. And why I think it's important to have an art or have a business is so you can get active feedback and so you don't talk yourself out of doing it, right? So when you have followers or you have people that are in your life, when you hide, they're going to be like, where the fuck did you go? Hence, bringing you out of bed, taking the blanket off your head, coming back into leadership. That is the importance of being witnessed. And that is what Video Vixen is for. If you decide, If I decided to just fucking say goodbye and never show up again, you would all be like, where the fuck are you? So I created this enchanted world so that I don't disappear. That's a really big deal. It's the biggest deal of like staying in isolation or having people. And we all have experienced that idea, the idea of being away from people. But we didn't do that here. Video Vixen was birthed out of a depressing moment in my life. And now it's a worth fucking celebration. I love it. Great. So let me give you this test. So sharing this, right? I'm about to do my third episode and honestly already want to disappear. Great. So sharing the feeling of wanting to disappear, but still showing up is where the fucking championship is, right? I feel like I don't want to do anything. I feel like I don't want to shower. I feel like I don't want to clean up my house. I feel like I don't want to vacuum. I don't want to have uncomfortable conversations. But then I do it anyway and I feel great. So that's where, oh, I love it. I love these things that are being shared. Here's another piece. I feel like I'm a mess and there's no structure, but I change vibes so fast that I can't think of a structure that would work with that. Well, I don't know who's writing this, but it sounds like you're doing it alone. And when you do things alone, it's very hard as a sensitive being to not only create the structure, but follow it. Oh, Heather, I love it that you're here. So it's great that we're working together already. And the voice that's like, whatever that voice is that's saying this is really important to know that that voice can't be in charge all the time. That voice that's like, I'm a mess. There's no structure. I don't know what I'm doing. It's changing so fast. There's never going to be a structure that works for me is an opinion. Ooh, I like that. It's an opinion. And great. Thanks for sharing your opinion, right? People have a lot of opinions. This part of you that has this opinion, nah, they don't get to run the show. They are part of the team that makes up who you are, right? So the joy and the fun of playing and sharing, that part gets some airtime. That part, that playful part, the creative part, exactly, has some say. And this other part that's like, this is never going to work for you. I know it works for everybody else, not going to work for you. And we can work with this part. I love this part in Trust Club because that part has wisdom and that part is very structured and thinks you can't do it by yourself. But indeed, not only can't you do it by yourself, you've chosen a life where you don't do things by yourself. And you have a show tonight and we're going to watch it. And whatever you say about yourself, we're going to watch the show and be like, you're great. And you don't have to believe it until random people, and this was my path too, keep saying you're great. And then you kind of have to believe that you are great. That's the end of the road of being witnessed. You can't fight for your limitations anymore. And that's something I had to learn. I went to my teacher feeling fucked up for years. And the people who I was with, basically, when I would come to class and be like, I'm fucked up, I would say it in a lot of different ways. They then see me all these times and I'm witnessed by them. They're giving me feedback. After a while, I had to believe them because, of course, I was like, they're just all in a conspiracy against me. But then strangers would say it. And then I was like, well, I got to fucking believe that I'm great. So, and I know what you're working on. So you're about to get a lot of you're great. You just sort of you build a track record, right? And that track record becomes evidence against the case that you're fucked up, that you're a mess. and that messy people are great leaders. I'm almost going to show you guys the ADD couch that I'm sitting on. I'm a mess. My house is a mess. I have my back deck. I'm ordering new shit. I'm shopping too much. I'm totally all over the place. But with you guys right now, I feel mega focused. That's it. You're not going to have all your shit together. I don't know where we decided that's cool. So I didn't get my water, so I'm going to bring us to a close. Thank you for showing up. I know I gave a lot to you, but I didn't just give it to you. I gave it to a lot of people who really agree and feel like you and understand that. And so what I want to close with is something exciting. And if you're already working with me, this becomes a gift. But this confidence catalyst is going to be starting 10/7, October 7th. And it's the Enchanted Leadership version. And it runs for 2 weeks. It's 3 in-person sessions and 2 and Zoom, and then the voice activation in between. And basically, we're going to work on our leadership, because what happens is we have these great sensitive leaders. And then what gets in the way? Socializing gets in the way. Social relationships get in the way. How am I going to do that? Gets in the way. It's not going to work for me. What are the steps? I don't know what I'm doing. No one's going to pay me for this. And meanwhile, the Enchanted Leadership is like, no, let's keep going forward. And all that static and noise is like, blah, 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 you're not ready. You're an asshole. Lose 10 pounds. Fuck that shit. So I'm continuing with Confidence Catalyst. Let me get the details up. It's $111. If you're already working with me, it's a gift. We're starting October 7th, October 14th, October 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to use parts work. We're going to use the Strut the Stage. And we're going to use rambling, which is opening the enchanted golden door. We're basically, you're going to use the unconventional icon method in a short time frame. And this is about leadership. Okay. So whatever gets in the way of your enchanted leadership, that's what we're working on. We're not just coming to show up to see what happens. So there's a focus and a goal, and it's 11 a.m. Wednesday, Saturday mornings, 3 Saturdays in a row. If you're not a morning person, just know that about yourself. I haven't been, but now I am, and it feels really good. So I'll put up the link for that. You can join right now. You can use PayPal. You can use whatever you want. And if you want, if you're already working with me, just let me know you want to do it. It's not automatic. You have to say, I want to do it. And that's it. So we're going to close. I want to give everybody a moment to celebrate with themselves. And I put on some goofy doofy music. Yes, I love Hazel. I'm going to put that up. I experiment all the time, and that's part of the fun of showing up. So Hazel, I want to, as I get the music on, I want to say, was it always fun for you? Because we forget the struggles. We don't remember that shit. So remember, it wasn't always that easy. And we have to remember, as our leadership duties, to share the hard parts. Because if you only share, hey, it's just fun, we leave the people behind that are still struggling. And part of being a leader is making sure that the people who are at least a mile behind us are included. All right. So let's see if this music feels good. I want you to just like shake out your hands. You have hair, shake it out. And play your air guitar. Find your inner rock star, the Vixen that lives in you. And come to my Zoom people. Yay! Take your air guitar. Take it up. Take your hair out of your ponytail. Yay! Amazing. Shake your chest, super. amazing. I love it. I love it. Yes. I'm getting inspired by you, Joanna. Okay. I'm going to shut off the. There we go. Christian, shake out your hair. It's so free. We have to start being free in our bodies, and the rest will catch up. Thank you so much for watching. Zoom people stay for a minute. I'm going to end this stream here.